Alright, y'all, I have a confession to make. I know a lot of people shit on reaction videos or reaction channels, but I am a reaction Andrew, okay? I really enjoy watching reaction videos. In fact, like, one of the things I do after, like, watching an episode of a show I really like or finishing a show, I look up a reaction on YouTube. Is it because I have no friends to talk to, and so I like to form parasocial relationships with other YouTubers to help me cope with my lack of human interaction? Maybe. But seeing other people enjoy something that I don't really get to talk about with anyone else it's fun and lets me enjoy that thing more. At this point, I've gone through dozens of the anime that I've watched and that have reaction mashups on YouTube, and one series in particular that I've been having a lot of fun rewatching is Naruto. And like many people growing up in the early 2000s, I watched a lot of Naruto. I remember even in first grade, we had like Naruto fights during recess, and like it's a lot of fun until the teachers made us stop because I guess we were going a little too hard. And I distinctly remember there was like one afternoon after school where my mom showed up. She had gotten something for me, a game she knew I'd been wanting, and it was something that made me super excited. I remember running around like the schoolyard and like jumping up and down, basically like pissing myself because I was so excited to play this game. And that game was Naruto Path of Ninja for the Nintendo DS. Path of Ninja is a turn-based RPG based off the first few arcs of Naruto, and I guess I decided to play it through it again, just for nostalgia's sake, and because I've just been into Naruto again, and I wanted to see how it holds up, if it lives up to, how excited I was for it as a kid. So one of the things that I first noticed was the music in this game. I mean, music in Naruto as well it's really nice. I did really enjoy it, and the game world really just did feel like Naruto. Being able to explore the town and inside buildings was really cool. It got me thinking about, how the village is kind of laid out geographically and which buildings are located near another, and how rooms that I've seen, in the anime are actually in the same building, but I never really thought about it. And being able to explore and experience that in the Leaf Village was probably one of my favorite parts of replaying this game. It made me definitely want to try some of the 3D games that I know are out there for Naruto and just be able to explore the world more. And talking about gameplay, I'm probably going to criticize a lot of it, and they're mostly just nitpicks. It's gonna sound like I hate the game, but I really don't. These are problems that are really common, I think, in RPGs in general. It really doesn't say that much about how much I dislike the game. They're just things I noticed that I really hope maybe are better in sequels, or, tiny complaints. Yeah, I felt the game itself had too many systems that don't get fleshed out enough to actually be rewarding. Especially given how short the game is, you really don't get any payoff for how much investment is required of these systems. For example, the relationship system that they have, where you basically have a status of how close each character is to Naruto, and you can get them to be closer to you using this ramen system that they have, where every day they're serving, a different type of ramen at Ichiraku Ramen, and you can choose a person to eat with, and each character has ramen they like, ramen they dislike, and it really isn't that useful for anything. I never really used it because the relationship status doesn't really do anything. All it does is slightly increase basically the chance of a critical strike with that character. Yeah, I felt like that was kind of a miss. Combat itself was pretty interesting. I'd say the jutsu was definitely the main highlight. It was really fun being able to use each character's iconic moves. They say the line and you do this minigame quick time event thing on the touchscreen. I'd say the big flaw was that often it seemed better just to use the generic elemental jutsu they give you, which are less flashy, but they do similar or even more damage sometimes and use less chakra, so they're just better in pretty much every aspect. Also, once you do start receiving some of the better weapons in the game, it felt just more efficient to spam basic attacks and not use jutsu at all, which kind of sucks, because thematically, what makes Naruto is the jutsu, and it was kind of sad not being able to use the cool attacks and like them being useful for the most part. There were a couple exceptions. One aspect of the game that I thought wasn't bad was the grinding. I had to do a little bit of grinding near the end of the game, but for a JRPG, it really didn't feel like there was that much grinding. But that might also just be because I had a like fast forward toggle in the emulator, so that might have like made the grinding feel a lot less bad for me, but overall it wasn't that bad. I also would say like I had some issues with how characters outside of the main three were handled. There are 3 other playable characters in the game, but they are quite unevenly leveled up by default and are not that available. They're only available for a really small portion of the story, meaning that the amount you can invest into them like doesn't really pay off. I get that like story-wise it does make sense to mainly follow the main trio, because that is like, you know, how the story goes in Naruto, but why would they go through the trouble, I guess, of adding these other characters if you only get to play them for a little bit? I would say the post-game was also disappointing, mostly because there really isn't one. You can play as any character after the game ends, and there are some like secret codes you can input to get some special items and abilities, but there isn't really anything to do with them other than go back to the areas you've already been to and fight random battles. Despite all the nitpicks though, I really did enjoy getting to revisit this game, and you know, it only took me around 8 hours in real time to beat, so most of the issues were pretty easy to ignore or quick to pass. And I'd say if you like Naruto and RPG games, definitely I'd say it's worth at least checking out. There actually is a direct sequel adapting the rest of the pre-Shippuden storyline, but it never was released in English. However, I did find like a really cool team that is working on a fan translation for that game. So, you know, I'll definitely be keeping an eye on that and hoping that, you know, it finishes someday. There is an official like English sequel called Path of Ninja 2, and it features a non-canon story that has way more playable characters. It seems like they really did learn from the first game and give a lot more spotlight and attention to these other characters. So yeah, I definitely do remember playing this game, but nothing about actually playing it, so I'd definitely be happy to revisit it sometime as well. But yeah, that's pretty much everything from me also. Thanks for watching. I know I haven't uploaded recently because I did move and start my first job, so it's been a little busy. But I've had some ideas for new content, so definitely keep your eyes peeled.